live with this a few times already. I have just run into multiple technical difficulties. So we're going to have some fun today, though, and I'm going to keep this real quick. My goal is to, cover this topic in less than 10 minutes. It was inspired by a friend of mine who had asked people, hey, did anybody know how to grow your Twitter account lately? World's a little bit different. And in this video, I'm going to share about a bot that I use, about some tactics that I use, and just some general tips. And if you find it helpful, then awesome. And I hope you share it with your friends and let people know. And come on over and subscribe to my YouTube channel where I answer people's social media questions all the time. So if you have a question, leave it in the comments, and I'll do a video just for you, just like I'm doing for my other friend. And so we're going to talk about how to grow your Twitter account in 2022 without having a huge budget, which is like a super common thing of how do I grow this Twitter thing when I don't have a budget. If you're wondering how much it costs to grow a Twitter account with ads, meaning running ads for followers, you can plan on paying about $1.25 to $2.50 to $2.75 per follower, typically, depending on how small the audience is. And so that's why I like to tell people how to do it for free. So let's jump right into it. But the first thing we need to talk about real quick is making sure you know who your audience is and who it is that you want to attract. And if your audience is, my audience is everybody, David, everybody should be interested in what I have to say. Well, then guess what? Nobody's going to be interested in what you have to say, because you really need to have a customer avatar of who it is you're trying to talk to, because we want to know what type of content we can create for those types of people so that they're actually interested in what you have to say. And if you think that everybody is your customer and that everybody's interested in what you have to say, while that may be fun to think about, and while I often think that about myself, it's just not the truth, right? So we got to have a niche. We got to have some form of customer avatar of who it is that we want to reach. We want to know what it is that they're into. We want to know what it is that they're currently reading, right? We want to have idea of what these people are into so we know how to attract them. And more importantly, so we know who they're already following on Twitter. Now, if you don't have any idea who your audience is, but you kind of know you can add value to some people because you're just that brilliant, there are great tools that you can use to go ahead and grow your audience and at least figure out who the audience is and where they are. I highly recommend an easy-to-use tool that's called SparkToro. If you've never heard of SparkToro, it is a paid tool, but there are free trials and that type of thing. If you've never seen it, let me just show you real quick. We're going to hop over and I'm going to show you my screen. We'll see if it works this time. We're going to hop over to my screen. Here we are. And I'm going to share with you how I use SparkToro to research my audience, or at least research the audience for my clients so that I know who it is that we're trying to reach, right? Because it's really hard to know where to reach people and how to find them if you don't know where they currently are. And so with SparkToro, what's great about it is you can easily go in here and just say, hey, here's what my people normally talk about. I was just doing a research project for a rock movie coming up. My people normally talk about heavy metal. Discover now. Here we go. SparkToro. Make your best robot noises right now. Beep, 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 tap, okay. Here we go. SparkToro's data has found 49,732 people that talk about heavy metal. Here we go. And it talks about, here's the hashtags they use. Here's the frequently used phrases. Here's the audiences and the websites that they visit, and the hidden gems, meaning here's the people that may not have a bazillion followers, but they're people you should probably be interacting with. Here's the websites they visit most often. SparkToro, man, it's a great thing, right? I'm not signed in right now, but if you upgrade your account, you can see what podcasts they listen to, all kinds of great stuff. Highly suggest you check out SparkToro if you're trying to do some audience research. I've found it just incredibly valuable. And so now that we know who your audience is, because we've identified that it isn't everybody, right? It isn't everybody. While I think you're beautiful, and while you know you are beautiful, the rest of the world doesn't know who the hell you are. So we need to give them a reason to know who you are. And the only way we're going to do that is by knowing who they are first. So now that we have these assumptions made, that you've drilled down to know who your target audience is, we want to figure out who they're following. Why do we want to know who they're following? Because we want to know who they're following, because whoever those people are that they are following, we want to see what content they're sharing that's pretty popular for a couple of reasons. One is it can inspire content for you, but two, because I mean, if you sell printers, which I don't even know if that's a career anymore, but let's just go ahead and say printers. Printers was pretty much like my first almost job that I almost had when I dropped out of college. Almost job meaning like one of 75 that I interviewed for, but didn't wind up working out for some reason. But let's just make believe that you sell printers. And Okay, no, we're not going to talk about printers because I don't know enough about printers. Let's make believe that you sell spaghetti sauce. You sell spaghetti sauce. You have a brand new spaghetti sauce startup and you want to attract people on Twitter to follow your spaghetti sauce Twitter account so people know that Pride's spaghetti sauce is the best sauce they could possibly put on their pasta, right? And so what are we going to do? Well, who eats spaghetti sauce? Well, probably people who eat spaghetti sauce also follow maybe Ragu, or maybe they follow Top Chef, or maybe they follow Olive Garden, or maybe they follow other spaghetti sauce companies. And so once we've identified a few other spaghetti sauce companies that have a passionate Twitter following, we're going to go and check them out on Twitter. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen again here over to my Twitter. And on my Twitter, what we're going to do is we are going to type in the name of a spaghetti sauce company that we know probably has Twitter followers like the ones that we want to attract. So let's see Ragu. Ragu sauce. Hey, here we go. A friend John Tantillo who could probably give this a real good Italian spin. I can't. But here we are. We're checking out Ragu, right? Ragu, we know that if you follow Ragu, odds are you're either a foodie, you either like inexpensive spaghetti sauce, or you like recipes, you like cooking. Either way, if you follow Ragu, you're probably going to be down with my new spaghetti sauce Twitter account. And so we're going to check out Ragu. We're going to see what they've been sharing that's been popular. Now, I have not prepped by going and checking out Ragu prior to this, so who knows? Their Twitter presence could suck. And what do you know? They haven't tweeted since 2020. So Dave, way to choose a relevant account. Doesn't matter. We're going to come here. All we're actually looking for is just a popular tweet. Here's a popular tweet. Wow, this meal prep looks delicious. Thank you for using our sauce. Their marketing director's super creative. And so we're going to scroll down, though, and we see it has 11 retweets, 4 quote tweets, and 39 likes. So what I do when I want to grow my Twitter account based off of who's following my competitors, I want to know who's retweeting them, right? Because if you're taking the time to retweet or quote retweet someone, then you're probably a real account, number one. But number two, you're really pretty passionate about spaghetti sauce. So we're going to click and see who's retweeting this. Here's all the suckers who are retweeting Ragu back in 2020. All right. Here's the magical follow button. Now, the fastest way to grow your Twitter account without paying for it and without having to pay a bunch of money, $2.25 per follower or whatever Twitter may be charging, is to go ahead and follow other people. In general, you're going to find between 15 and 35 to 40% of people will follow you back, which means you didn't pay nothing to get new followers. I have almost 11,000 Twitter followers, and I've attracted most of them by following strategic other accounts. So they say, oh, look at this guy, David Pride. He's got this beautiful hair. Guy looks like a white version of Tyson Beckford. We should totally follow him, right? And then they do. Here they are. Now they're following me. They're just waiting for me to drop an OnlyFans. Haven't done that yet, but widescreen's coming. When the widescreen new iPhone gets out here, man, you can just be waiting for Dave Pride's OnlyFans spaghetti sauce account. Don't wait too long, though. So we're back over here on Ragu. We're checking them out. We're seeing there's all these people that are following Ragu, but also more importantly, here's all the people who actually interacted with it. Because remember that the fastest way to grow a Twitter account in a crappy, sketchy way is to go out and buy a bunch of fake Twitter followers, right? Which is way more common than you probably even want to know. And there's no point in ever buying fake followers for anything because all it's going to do is screw up your analytics, could get you banned, and eventually that social network's going to delete those fake accounts anyhow, and now you're just going to be left with nothing. You're just going to be left with nothing. And when you actually start to have real organic growth, if you bought a bunch of fake followers, all your analytics are going to be off. It's going to say, oh, yeah, they all live in the Philippines or India or in whatever world it was that you bought those fake followers from. Your analytics are going to be all screwed up. The ages, the actions, everything. So don't buy fake followers. If you want to grow your Twitter account quickly, just go ahead and follow other people. It's going to be the fastest way to do it, the cheapest way too. And it doesn't have to take a long time. I use a tool that I'm linking to in the description down below. It's a Chrome extension called Button Clicker. There's also another extension called GrowBot that's really easy to use. And this is just a Twitter bot that clicks the follow button for you. Now, listen, get this through your head. Do not turn this on and go and take a 45-minute dump and come back and say, geez, why did my Twitter account get banned? Well, your Twitter account got banned because Twitter pays attention to how many times you're clicking that Twitter button. He even pays attention to the pattern to which you're clicking the follow button. So don't just set it and forget it because that's not really a smart way of doing things, right? what I do is I'll fire it up while I'm doing something else. I'll leave the window open, but I'll open up a fresh window, go do some work for a couple minutes, come back, and then I'll stop it. I actually set a timer on my watch so that I don't forget that it's running. Start with like a minute, let it run, and over the course of a couple days, maybe work out to 2 minutes, and then maybe up to 3 minutes. But I wouldn't go too far into like 10, 15, 20-minute territory all at once, because Twitter will figure it out. And Twitter wants to make sure that what you're doing is authentic. And now this is strategic, because remember, what we are doing is we're following people who are following our competitor, but we're going one level above that. We're following people who are following our competitor and interacting with our competitor, which means it's probably a real account. Going to be pretty easy to do. Here we have all the people that recently retweeted Ragu. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up and we're going to click on button clicker. It opens up this fancy little screen here. And it says click all follow buttons. Or you can even unfollow people if you're on your own page. Click start. You can set an interval. I leave a rate of 5 to 10 seconds. But when you're first getting started ripping this baby, you might want to move the 10 to 15 or 15 to 30. If you plan on just testing your luck and letting this puppy run for an hour, then you're probably going to want to pop this up to, several seconds or even a few minutes in between, so that you don't find yourself in Twitter prison. And so, but here we are, 5 to 10 seconds. Enable auto scroll. Start that little timer on your watch. Bing. Click start and check this out. Oh Lord, don't do what I just did. I just shut it down. Shut that puppy down. Here we go. Click start clicking. And now this puppy just runs. Right? It just runs. It's going to run until you stop it, or until Twitter's like, hey, what's this dude doing? He's jacking with the algorithm, right? So you want to let this puppy run for a minute or two and then come back and stop it. What I do is I'll let it run for a minute or two a couple times a day. It's a very fast way to be able to go out and follow a bunch of other accounts and start attracting new followers organically, but in a strategic manner. This isn't just like following crap accounts or going out and buying a bunch of fake followers. This is following accounts that are in a strategic manner, right? We are doing this on purpose. We're not doing this by accident. We're going out and following people who are following our competitors and interacting with our competitors. But what's the first thing we did, though? We figured out who our audience was, right? Who we can add value to. Because if you don't know who you can add value to, then it's going to be really difficult to find out who you can add value to and who they're following, because you don't know what type of value your followers are looking for if you don't know who you're looking to have be following you. So I highly encourage you to check out Button Clicker. It's a Chrome extension. I think it's like $7 a month. I don't know. I'm going to send a link to this YouTube video to the developer, and then he's probably going to say, hey, dude, you gave the wrong price. And so I feel bad for that if I did. Click the link in my description if you want to check it out. There are others out there. My favorite is Button Clicker, just because it's like the easiest. But there's another one called Growbot, and there's a few others out there. Everything, though, you want to use with moderation. Don't just launch these puppies and wait to get banned, because that is exactly what will happen. Be strategic. Employ what the great G.W. Bush once said with strategery, right? You want to be strategic about how you use this thing. You don't just whip it out and spray and pray, right? We want to do this in a way that is effective by targeting people that are following people that are obviously in our audience. So check out Button Clicker. Finally, some basics. If you want to grow your Twitter following quickly, you need to be interacting with other people. Just set a goal. I'm going to answer 4 other people's tweets every single day, and just do it. Just add some value to those other tweets. Look for people who you can retweet, and have a goal. Every day I'm going to answer 5 other people's tweets, and I'm going to retweet 5 other accounts. Right? This is going to be the fastest way to start getting some momentum and getting yourself in front of other people. Also, check out Twitter Blue, which is Twitter's new subscription program for $2.99 a month. It's got some great value adds. Like, you can easily see what topics are trending around topics that you care about. Gives you lots of other options, like undoing a tweet within a minute after sending it, which is pretty cool, and pretty important for those folks out there sitting out there in dick pic land who like to just kind of spray and pray in another way, I guess you might say. And so I encourage you to check that out also, and get familiar with Twitter search. If you've never seen Twitter search, I'm going to show you it right now, and then we're going to be done. Twitter search. Here you go. Let's open this puppy up. We're going to go over to Twitter search, and let's just say that you're a skincare company, and you want to know who's tweeting about moisturizers. We can go in here and we can type in new moisturizer. Probably anybody who's tweeting new moisturizer is talking about either buying a new moisturizer, needing a new moisturizer, or one that they just got, right? And so we can see what other people are saying about new moisturizers. If you're a skincare company, there's probably a hit list of people you might want to be interacting with, or at least answering their tweets. Think about all the phrases that apply to your industry and how quickly you could answer them. This is very simple. This is just Twitter search. You get there just as easy as clicking the little search button up here and typing in the phrase that has to do with your business. Use the little quotation marks around that phrase so it searches for the exact phrase, not for both words, right? Because then you get all kinds of weird answers. But the key with Twitter and growing your Twitter is you need to make sure that you're out there interacting with other people on a consistent basis and showing people how you can add value, right? And the best way to do that is look for questions you can answer, look for people you can interact with, and retweet other people. Show the love, right? And check out some of those bots. Use them in moderation, my friend, my young Jedi. Right? You want to use them in moderation. And I hope these tips are helpful. If they are, leave a comment. If you have a social media question, go ahead and ask me. I release new YouTube videos every single week answering people's questions about social media. So if you got a social media question, please, it's a free content opportunity for me. Hook your brother up. That's exactly how this video came about. And so check out those bots. Check out the links in the description. And if this is at all helpful, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.